The bidding starts at 5 million. But first, a demonstration of Najm's legendary bloodline.
Jockey Carlos swung into the saddle, his silks snapping. The stallion stood still, but its muscles quivered. Without warning, Najm exploded. His front legs lashed the air, a scream ripping from his throat. Carlos's body arced through the air. A champion jockey, weightless, helpless. He hit the sand shoulder first, a sickening thud echoing through the silent arena.
Something's wrong with him. He's never lunged like that.
Sheikh Marwan's hand tightened on his beard. In 30 years, no Al Rashid auction had derailed before it began. A wave of gasps swept through the bidders, several craning their necks, disbelief etched on every face.
The auction is suspended. Get that horse under control, immediately.
The deep gouge in the sand told the story. A $5 million stallion that wouldn't be broken. Not yet.
Step aside. I've handled this colt since he was a yearling.
But the moment Hamid reached for the bridle, Najm twisted away with a violent snort.
What's gotten into you?
Someone else get in there. We don't have all day.
A second trainer attempted to flank Najm, but a wild kick caught him in the chest, hurling him onto his back. The third trainer didn't even get close. Najm jerked the rope, pulling the man onto his face in the sand.
I've bred champions for 2 decades, and this colt is making fools of us all.
The bidders exchanged glances. Some shifted uncomfortably. Others shook their heads in disbelief.
Sheikh Marwan, if this continues, I'll have to cancel the auction. This is unprecedented.
Hamid looked at the gouges in the sand, then at the trembling horse. Nothing had worked. Nothing would work, unless someone knew something they didn't. In the service corridor, Sophia nudged a champagne flute into place. Then the shouts from the arena froze her hand. She turned through the service door. She saw the chestnut colt rear, hooves slicing the air. But it wasn't the chaos that stole her breath. It was a mark on his flank, a crescent hugging a star.
That can't be real. That's the Alvarado brand.
Instantly, she was 10 years old again, tracing that same symbol on a faded photograph.
Abuela's promise. The lullaby for the bloodline.
The tray tilted. A glass slid, but Sophia caught it, her focus absolute.
He's been trying to tell them. That brand means he's mine to call.
Her grandmother's voice echoed in her mind, humming the 4 notes that had calmed mares for centuries.
If I don't go to him, no one will. Grandmother, lend me your song.
Sophia set the tray onto the counter with a soft clink. She untied her apron with deliberate, steady hands that did not shake. The other caterers stared, forks frozen midair, as she walked away from the service corridor into the chaos of the suspended auction. A security guard with a thick neck and an earpiece stepped into her path, one palm raised, blocking her like a gate.
Sir, please, I know that horse. I can stop him before someone else gets hurt.
The guard leaned down. Sophia whispered a single name that made his hand tremble against his side. Without a word, the guard stepped aside, his hand dropping so fast, it slapped his own thigh. Confusion clouded his eyes. Sophia's work flats sank into the soft sand as she stepped from the concrete onto the arena floor.
Who is that woman? And why did Saeed just step aside?
She walked not like a server, but like someone who owned the bloodline she was about to call. 300 elite watched a waitress in a burgundy apron. Cross the line, no trainer had survived. The air thickened. Sophia stopped 3 paces from the sweating colt and lifted her chin. From her lips rose a melody. 4 notes, repeated like a heartbeat. It was the lullaby her abuela had hummed to restless mares, a sound no trainer in this arena had ever heard.
That's it, Hermoso. You remember the song, don't you?
Najmin's ears, pressed flat in fury, rotated forward. The twitching in his shoulders paused. One of the handlers started toward her, but another grabbed his arm and hissed, "Let her be." Sophia opened her hand, palm toward the sand, still humming. The colt's wild eye followed her fingers. Each exhalation from Najm grew longer. the steam from his nostrils thinning into the warm air.
No one interferes. Let the woman speak.
Sophia closed the distance and pressed her forehead to the stallion's muzzle. Her lips never stilled. In the grandstand, not a single teacup clinked. The room heard only the hum. Sophia let the fourth note hang in the air. Najm's eyelashes swept down, and his body softened against her forehead. The same eye that had been white-rimmed with panic shut with the trust of a foal. Then his front legs buckled. Not a fall, but a folding. Slow, deliberate, as if bowing to something older than fear.
Así, mi vida. As you were always meant to be.
The sound that swept the grandstand was not applause. It was the collective exhalation of 300 people who had stopped breathing.
In 80 years of my family's breeding, this has never happened.
The auctioneer's gavel hung in midair, forgotten. The bid sheets fluttered to the floor.
This waitress, she knows something I have been searching for my whole life.
And there, in the center of the arena, the $5 million stallion lay at the feet of a serving girl, as still as a painting. Nobody spoke. Nobody dared ask the question that burned on every face. Who was she? Sheikh Marwan rose from his chair so suddenly, the cup beside him rattled. His bisht flowed like a silent command. The auctioneer's gavel finally slipped from his fingers and struck the podium with a hollow crack. Marwan crossed the line where trainers had fallen, his shoes sinking into the same sand that had rejected everyone else.
What did you do? In 70 years, no horse has knelt for a stranger.
She looked up, her eyes calm, and pointed to the stallion's flank.
This mark, it belongs to my family, and it's the only reason he's breathing.
Marwan leaned in, his breath catching. The brand was not a scar from accident. It was a signature.
Impossible. I've studied every breeding line in the peninsula. I've never seen this.
You haven't seen it because my family was erased from the registries during the war.
And in that moment, Marwan knew this waitress held the key to a mystery older than his empire. Marwan lowered himself to one knee, his bisht spreading over the sand, and traced the crescent and star with a fingertip.
That brand was cut into every mare my family bred for 200 years. It's the only reason he calmed.
A crescent embracing a star. I've seen this mark. In a stud book, handwritten before the last caliph fell.
Sophia's fingers tightened on the stallion's mane, but she did not look away.
Then the bloodline is real. My grandfather spoke of it. The Alvarado line, lost when the Spanish farm was burned.
My family is Alvarado. My grandmother Elena was the last to breed them before the Civil War swallowed our farm.
Elena Alvarado. That name is the key I've been searching for in every archive, from Madrid to Doha. Your grandmother's name, was it Elena?
Sophia nodded, a tear brimming but not falling. The name meant nothing to the elite, but to Marwan it opened a door 2 decades sealed.
She was Elena. She taught me the lullaby the night we sold our last mare, and she made me promise to remember that brand.
Marwan's hand slipped into his thobe and withdrew a leather notebook, worn soft by years of searching.
This page I've carried since my father's death. It shows the same crescent and star, and underneath, the name Hilal.
Sophia leaned forward, her eyes tracing the faded ink that matched the brand on Najm's flank perfectly.
Hilal was our foundation mare. The lullaby I hummed. It was written by my great-grandfather for her alone.
Then this colt is not just any horse. He's the last living son of a bloodline that spawned legends.
For a moment, Marwan's voice broke. The notebook trembled in his grip.
2 decades of archives, and the answer was a waitress humming in a Riyadh stable.
Sophia placed her hand on the notebook, steadying it, and met his eyes.
My grandmother said when Hilal's song returns, the line will be reborn. I didn't believe her until now.
Marwan stared at the kneeling stallion, and his fingers closed around the notebook as if it held the future of his legacy.
Your family. What happened to the farm? How did this bloodline disappear from every record I've searched?
Sophia's jaw tightened. Behind her calm eyes flickered the memory of a foreclosure sign nailed to a stable door.
The bank took everything when I was 7. My grandfather sold Hilal's last foals to pay the debt, and then he burned the brand papers.
Marwan's thumb traced the yellowed page again, counting generations. From Hilal through 4 bloodlines, straight to the colt before him.
Najmim is the great-great-great-grandson of Hilal. This horse is not just a champion, he's the last page of a lost book.
The auction, the one that had gathered billionaires from 3 continents, now felt like a graveyard for everything his grandfather had valued.
My grandmother sang Hilal's lullaby to me every night. She said the line would not die as long as someone remembered the tune.
Marwan reached toward Najm's flank again, not to bid, but to touch the brand with the reverence of a historian, uncovering a lost civilization.
$5 million for this horse meant nothing now. He was not a transaction, he was a promise.
He closed the notebook and looked at Sophia. The choice was no longer about selling a horse, it was about honoring a legacy that had outlived borders and bank accounts.
My grandfather told me bedtime stories about Hilal, the mare that could outrun the wind. I thought they were fairy tales.
But after his grandfather died, Marwan found a ledger, not a storybook, and the crescent and star appeared alongside every champion line.
I've chased that symbol through auctions from Madrid to Dubai for 20 years. Every time I got close, the trail went cold.
And all this time, the answer was a lullaby my grandmother sang while brushing our last mare's mane.
That lullaby, it's not just a song. It's the only thing that has ever reached Hilal's line. Without you, I would have sold him to someone who'd never understand.
He's not just a buyer looking for a trophy. He's been searching as long as I've been grieving.
For the first time, Sophia saw not a sheikh in a bisht, but a man who had lost a legend and found it again under a crystal chandelier.
My grandmother wanted someone to carry the line forward. I never thought it would be a stranger in Riyadh.
I am not a stranger to Hilal. Her blood runs through my dreams as much as yours. We can honor her together.
The word together hung between them like a promise neither had dared speak. The auctioneer's next call would put that promise to the fire.
The auction resumes in 5 minutes. I've received a bid of 6 million.
But the bidders had barely sat down before a fresh wave of outrage erupted. We flew 12 hours for this, a voice echoed. Marwan's assistant pressed through the throng, his voice tight. The syndicate says they'll walk if the horse isn't sold within the hour.
This horse is no longer a lot on the block. I will not sell blood that belongs to history.
He turned away from the assistant and found Sophia's gaze. Her trembling hand still rested on Najm's neck.
Auctioneer, hold your gavel. I am pausing this sale.
The auctioneer's face went white. The gavel he had just retrieved clattered onto the podium. Shouts erupted from the front row, men in bespoke suits pounding their fists on the armrests.
You will have your answers, but not through threats. Sit down, or the auction truly dies.
The arena fell into a brittle silence. Marwan had drawn a line in the sand, and every person there knew the real auction was about to begin, the auction for a legacy. Marwan led Sophia to the corner of the arena, where the noise of the restless bidders felt like a distant storm.
Sophia, if you could have it back. The bloodline, the farm, everything your grandmother built, would you want it?
Every night I hear my grandmother's voice asking me to try. But I am a waitress. I have nothing to rebuild with.
You have the lullaby. You have the brand. I will buy Najman, cancel the auction, and fund the Alvarado farm, if you agree to a partnership.
A partnership. He's offering the one thing I've been too afraid to dream about. Why would you do this? You don't know me. I could walk away tomorrow.
I know that lullaby reached a horse no trainer, no jockey, no billionaire could touch. That is not luck. its legacy.
Sophia looked at Najm, then at Marwan. The same hunger for legacy that had driven her across a continent now looked back at her from his eyes. In her mind, she saw whitewashed stables, olive groves, and foals with crescent stars, a farm her grandmother had sketched on the back of a napkin. The offer hung in the air, a partnership that would rewrite both their futures, if she had the courage to accept the hand of a stranger who suddenly felt like home.
How can you trust me? I am just a waitress who got lucky with a song.
Luck doesn't make horses kneel. Look at this brand. It's proof that your bloodline is real.
He stepped closer, his voice dropping so only she could hear.
Your grandmother's lullaby reached Najm when nothing else could. That's not luck. It's knowledge passed for centuries. The missing piece I've spent 20 years chasing.
Sophia's hand rose to her chest, as if touching a locket that wasn't there.
She used to say that song was older than our name. I thought it was just a bedtime story.
Every bedtime story holds a seed of truth. Your grandmother's was a key I've been searching for my entire career.
He's not just offering money. He's offering to believe in what my grandmother knew.
The noise of the bitters faded into a murmur. In that corner, only the lullaby still echoed.
Then maybe. This was always meant to happen. Yes, together. Let's bring her bloodline home.
Marwan squeezed her hand, a silent oath sealed in the grip of a man who had just found his life's purpose. He turned and walked to the auctioneer's podium, each step pressing into the sand like a signature.
The auction is cancelled. Najm is no longer for sale. He belongs to a bloodline that will be revived.
You can't be serious. There are binding bids. This is unprecedented in the history of this house.
A wave of outrage broke over the grandstand. Bidders on their feet, shoving past each other, voices overlapping in fury.
You came for a horse. You witnessed a miracle. I intend to honor it, and her.
Several bidders stormed out, their curses swallowed by the vaulted ceiling. Others remained, stunned into silence. Marwan returned to Sophia, his hand finding hers again. The gavel lay where it had fallen, the auction dead. Under the crystal chandelier, a waitress and a sheikh stood beside a kneeling stallion, the debris of greed around them. The real work had just begun. One by one, the remaining bidders were escorted from the grandstand, leaving only silence and scattered bid paddles.
Get the partnership agreement drafted. I want it ready by morning.
Thank you, Hermoso. You brought her back.
The documents will be prepared immediately. By sunrise, the Alvarado farm will have a future.
In a quiet office, the title, Partnership Agreement, began to take shape on a new document.
He's really going to do it. My grandmother's dream is coming true.
We'll fly to Andalusia together. You'll show me the land, and we'll start rebuilding.
I know the exact hill where the stables should stand.
As they led Najm from the arena, the silence felt like the world holding its breath for what came next. Hand in hand, they led the stallion, no longer a commodity, but the cornerstone of a legacy reborn. The next morning, the agreement lay on a polished table. An ornate pen rested beside it, waiting for history.
Sign, and Najm becomes the foundation sire of a new Alvarado farm, Hilal's Hope.
Hilal's Hope. After all these years, her name will be spoken again.
With a trembling hand, Sophia signed her name next to the Alvarado brand. A tear splashed onto the paper.
Your grandmother, Elena, sits beside us today. She kept her promise, and now we keep ours.
She always said the lullaby would find its way home. I never imagined it would be through a sheikh.
As the ink dried, the vision of stables on an Andalusian hill grew sharper, more real than any photograph.
Najm is already being loaded for transport. By the time we land in Spain, the restoration crews will be on site.
He'll see the same hills. Hilal ran on. She'll come full circle.
The partnership was sealed, not with champagne, But with the four-note lullaby, Sophia hummed one more time, as if to tell the world that Hilal's echo had finally returned. Within a week, the documents cleared. Restoration crews began clearing decades of neglect from the old Alvarado stables.
I sent you photographs. The whitewash is fresh, and the olive grove is being pruned.
I can almost smell the hay. It looks exactly like my grandmother's sketches.
When they landed in Spain, the air tasted of rosemary. A new paddock gleamed where rusted equipment once lay.
This hill, it is the one you described. The sunrise will touch it first.
Najm trotted into the enclosure, hooves testing the soil, then threw his head back and neighed a sound of freedom.
He knows this land. It's in his blood, just like it was in hers.
By the old stone fence, Sophia placed her grandmother's photograph beside a new plaque that read Hilal's Hope.
The brand registry is being updated today. Hilal's line will no longer be erased.
Grandmother, if you can see this, the lullaby is home.
Decades ago, under this same sun, her grandmother taught her the four-note lullaby.
I can still hear her voice, softer than the wind through the olive trees.
In the memory, a little girl with a side braid repeated the tune, note by note. Now, Sophia hummed that same melody into Najm's coat, her breath warm against his chestnut hide. The stallion lowered his head until his breath warmed her skin, eyes half closed.
You know this song as well as I do, don't you?
The brand on his flank caught the Spanish sunlight, a crescent and star glittering like a seal.
Abuela's promise, etched in his skin. It was real all along.
She pressed her forehead to his, and the lullaby carried them both back to the stable of her childhood. The circle closed, the line unbroken. A figure in a white thobe appeared on the ridge, Marwan watching from a distance. He didn't interrupt, he simply let the lullaby wash over him, a dream he'd funded turning into breathing truth.
You came.
I had to see it with my own eyes. The legendary Alvarado farm, alive again. Your grandmother would be proud. This is exactly what the records from the old empire described.
She already knows. I feel her in every song I hum here.
They stood together under the olive tree, the stallion standing guard as if he understood the weight of the moment.
We'll expand slowly. No auctions, no rush. Just bloodlines that matter, handled by people who understand them.
And I'll teach the lullaby to every handler who works here. The song won't die with me.
In the quiet of the Spanish evening, two unlikely partners shared a silence that held more promise than any contract. The sun sank low, turning the olive grove to amber beneath the oldest tree. Sophia sat with a leather strap in her lap. Her finger traced the crescent and star she had stamped into the hide herself, a replica of the brand his flank already wore. Somewhere beyond the ridge, a mare whinnied, one of the new foals that would carry Hilal's line into the next century.
The song will never be lost now.
Beside her, Najm lowered his muzzle until it rested against her shoulder. His breath steady and slow, the camera drew back, past the stable roofs, over the whitewashed walls, until the whole farm lay cradled in the valley. Green pastures rolled toward the hills, where Hilal once ran, and now her blood ran free again. On a stone at the entrance, the plaque read simply, Hilal's Hope, Est 2025. Sophia hummed four notes into the dusk, and the echo carried across the paddocks, answered by a distant whinny. The line was not just unbroken, it was singing. The brand on his flank, once a scar of loss, now gleamed like a seal pressed by history itself. Sophia's fingertips drifted over the mark, a touch as soft as the lullaby that had first called him to her.
This mark will never be forgotten again.
Beside the stable entrance, a small engraved plate caught the last amber light. Sophia knelt and pressed her palm to the cool stone, as if sealing a promise.
For you, Abuela, for Hilal, for all the songs yet to be sung.
She closed her eyes and hummed the four notes. One final time, a whisper, barely louder than the breeze. The echo faded, and the world held still. witness to a legacy that had outlasted silence. Then the light deepened, and the image slowly dissolved into a soft, dark warmth. A final whispered lullaby note hung in the silence, and the story of Hilal's hope found its rest.